Hello, everybody. I got the ungrateful role to be the last before lunch, so I hope I will not hold you long here, and I will try to tell you what we are doing within the environmental part of PEACOCK project. The environmental part has a long history already, because as the airports are forced by either the authorities or the regulations into environmentally friendly aspects, and also as the population and the wide public is demanding the friendly behavior from the airport to the surrounding areas. It's becoming more and more sensitive for the airports to operate within this framework and to not to oppose everybody with the noise or the emissions. Because of these conditions, there was already several attempts to focus on optimizing the approach of the airports to the environmental areas. And one of the ways how to proceed is to build the environmental dashboard that will serve all the stakeholders at the airport for the monitoring and management of the operations as a supportive tool. First time it was approached within the CESAR framework. It was in CESAR 2020 Wave 2 program, page PJ04. When was a dashboard developed by Orly Airport, which had two parts in common. One of them was the performance monitoring part. When they set up certain key performance indicators to be displayed on a dashboard, and these indicators then served as the basis for the operational decision making while facing the maybe unusual operational conditions. And the other part of this project, which was in the past, was the possibility to somehow provide the environmental management so that the airport stakeholders can take benefit from the environmental data monitoring and then somehow adapt their procedures to the changing conditions, or to see how the conditions were in relation to the defined KPIs. PEACOCK Solution 533 follows on this type of research and just enhances the capabilities of the previous solution, because we are widening not only the scope but also the impact of the monitoring management to general usage of any of the airports if that would be needed, and also we are widening the area what is monitored and when. Saying that, I need to stress that Solution 533 is purely technological solution, combining and aggregating current applications or solutions or dashboards, and combining it with new features and spreading it in more wider public via sharing the data. As was said, the environmental issues are more or less directly proportional to the fuel consumption regarding the emissions, because the more fuel is burned, the more emissions are produced. And this makes the main concern of large or very large airports, which are either complex or complicated, or where the taxing is very long. And so, and this parameter mainly determined the focus group of the airports that will be part of this project. Because it requires either very large or large airports, 4 of them are participating on the project. It's Paris, Charles de Gaulle, and Paris-Orly, then Stockholm, Arlanda, and Brussels. And all of these airports, being either very large or large, are subject of further regulations or requirements, either legislative or national. And it means that each of them has to be able to share the ACDM data with the network manager. They either are ACDM already or on the way to do it, because ACDM is one of the prerequisites to become AOP implemented. We already heard about the airport operation plan today, so I will not go into return to it. But this is also one of the prerequisites that is needed. Having AOP implemented in the airport means that such an airport is fully integrated into the network manager. That is the airport network integration. That's for the first abbreviation here, and RNI is that another step lower. That's the feature Alan was talking about a little while ago with the regional integration via PDPA messages. And that is for the future. If some large airport wouldn't have the mandatory requirement to join the AOP, then at least the minimum level how they can join to the benefits brought by the solution 523 is to be regional integrated. As I said, the key parts of the solution are several either existing or proposed dashboards. The dashboards are just the visualization of the data. What is needed in the first place is some tool that will provide either the calculations or the measurement of the emissions and the noise. Because we will have to provide the data in near real-time horizon, and there is no capacity at the airports or capability to measure the emissions in real time and the noise and then process it somehow in the calculations, then we always rely on the modeling force. Modeling is provided by the Eurocontrol tool called Impact, which then is transferred to another similar tool called Intact, which is doing the exact calculations, which are then, and the results of these calculations are then used in all these dashboards, which I will be talking about. Currently, one of the existing dashboards, which is used in day-to-day operations, and anybody of you can log into it, is the LTO emissions estimator. The display can be visible on the right side of the slide. It's admissible by the web page. It's just a Power BI tool, and you can see the whole history of a particular airport, which is in your interest. How the emissions looked like at the particular time. You can choose a different period and time, which is in your interest. And what is really interesting is also that the tool allows you to utilize the what-if scenario, meaning because it is the post-ops, you know that the operations took place, for example, on runway 06, but you have another runway at the airport, runway 30, which could be used instead of that one. And with this what-if tool, you can check what would have been better for the environment if runway 30 was used instead. And this this possibility to compare the past efficiency of the operations regarding the emissions is a very valuable tool for the real-time operations, because if you have the same conditions prevailing at the airport, then of course it's reasonable to think that if you will follow this what-if scenario, you will get the results that would have been possible in the past if you have chosen that way. All the calculations done by Intact and all the incoming data are done in the background. So once you display the dashboard, the LTO emissions estimator, it takes a little while until it's displayed because all the calculations are going on. Within the past CESAR project I was talking about, which was developed in Orly, they provided another dashboard for near real-time and post-ops monitoring of emissions and noise, and it was dedicated to Orly Airport and connected directly with the modeling tool by the AODB. If we continue with the previous solution, that it would mean that each airport which will be interested in the same type of service, they will have to be connected in the same way directly AODB to the Intact tool, which will be very difficult to provide, as each airport has different conditions and different environment. That means that one of the goals we should go for is to try to find a way how to provide all this information, which may be interesting for the majority of the airports, in a simple way. That brings us to the way which is similar to the PDPI messages, and that is to share only the data and rely that the airport which is interested about this data will provide their own dashboard or some other visualization that would be fit to their purpose. If the airport as such has no means or intentions to build their own dashboard, they can of course utilize the existing dashboards, either this emissions estimator I was already talking about, or they can use the Intact user interface, print screen of which is here in the slide. For the noise contours, the Intact calculates the past impact of noise on a certain area, and because it provides the data, the noise contours that can be shared with any of the airports, then of course it is capable of displaying it itself. So the user interface is also available for the airports. And now, what is the real game changer? I keep saying that we can share the data, we can have the interface, and this is the real purpose of Solution 533. That all these existing solutions or data that are calculated can be easily shared with the wide public via new network manager B2B service, which is being developed at the moment. In order to provide this, we need an input from the airports that they should provide the time period that they're interested about. They send the query to the NM with this time period, and NM-B2B then contacts Intact together with all of flight data, the 4D trajectory, meaning it's the flight route together with the timestamps which are pertaining to the individual flight. And in this way, you can have the complete history of the flight together with all the presumed consumption of the fuel. All these flight data are then the input for the INTAC to calculate either the emissions and the noise. It all goes along with approved methodology, which is done either by ICAO or ECAC. And the result is that the response back to the NMB2B and then, of course, to the individual airport is that the airport gets precise information about the emissions produced by the flight or by all flights within the requested period, and also the total noise impact on the area within that provided time period. As I said, we can provide near real-time data because of the modeling and need of the calculation. The interval of recalculating in case the airport would need the continuous flow of data is every 15 minutes. I also said in the beginning that we are trying to enlarge the scope of the area or the altitude which is calculated for both pollutants and the noise. So for the sake of PEACOCK, we are developing the modeling structure in INTACT for emissions being calculated from ground to top of climb and then from top of descent again to ground, including a holding pattern. And for noise contours, according to the approved methodology, we are able to provide the calculations from the ground up to 10,000 feet for the climb and from 6,000 feet to the ground during the descent. Utilizing this new NMB2B service then allows us to offer this service and the calculations and the results to the wide number of users, which can be provided after the demonstration. All these capabilities of PEACOCK will be, of course, demonstrated throughout this and the beginning of next year. And we have these 6 use cases which will be shown or demonstrated in those 4 airports, Brussels, Charles de Gaulle, Orly, and Arlanda. The first use case is about near real-time monitoring of noise contours, and it will be done in Brussels airports. And Brussels will have the choice either to use the existing user interface provided by INTACT, or they can consume the data provided via the new NMB2B service and build their own application, their own visualization according to the needs they will prefer to support the decision-making in their local APOC. The second use case is the near real-time monitoring of the taxiing aircraft emissions. Please keep in mind that it's still modeling because we don't have exact methods how to measure the emissions, so it's still the modeling. And it will again be provided either by the local app or by existing tools which are available. Again, depending on the preferences of the airports where the demonstrations will take place. The third use case will be the real-time monitoring of taxiing aircraft, taxiing with only one engine. We heard a little bit about it from my colleagues from ADP when they were talking about the Heron project. They're really keen about different aspects of taxiing and like being careful to the environment. So PEACOCK project will support also this type of operations that it can, once it knows about the suitable conditions for one-engine taxiing, and within the query from the airport, it will know that this particular aircraft is taxiing with only one engine operating. Then, of course, it will adapt the calculations and provide the emissions in a correct way. With emissions calculating in real time, there comes also the monitoring of the overall amount of emissions during the day. And it may be useful if you have the overall idea about the conceived emission at the airport, that somehow probably it may exceed some predetermined level that you would like to not to exceed. So why not to build an alert into that? That is our use case number 5. It will be demonstrated in Orly Airport. So this feature then again will add to their situational awareness, and as a supportive measure provide the decision-making capacity, whether it is the right time to maybe change the runway configuration to reduce the emissions, not to rise too much. I omitted use case number 4, which is the post-ops analysis of the overall in-flight emissions. This will be demonstrated in Brussels and Orlando. Again, either via the existing LTO emissions estimator or via the local app, depending on the preference of the airport. But it needs to be said that it will be done not via directly connected airport, but via an MB2B service, because apart from those noise contours, the NMB2B will provide also continuous flow of emissions data for all the flights which were in the query. And the last use case, which will be demonstrated on the French airports and in Brussels, is the post-operations monitoring of taxiing of CO2 emissions. I keep saying that it will be demonstrated. It has not been demonstrated yet because the main part is still missing. At the end of April, we will deploy the SAD and MB2B service on the validation environment, so we can then provide the API for all the airports, and after that they can be able to develop their own connection to the NMB2B and build up on it their application for monitoring and managing the emissions and noise. Here is the timeline with the estimated demonstration sites. So for the intact and LTO, meaning the post-ops analysis of the noise and emissions, it will be in Ireland and Brussels. One of them will be demonstrating this fall, and the other one next spring. And the French airports will demonstrate their solution at the end of year 2026. So this was the brief oversight of what we are doing in PEACOCK environmental part, and thank you for your attention.